Hey guys, I'm Matt from MWA Woodworks. Welcome back to my shop. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you two important shop updates that I made in 2019. So I spent the first year here in my shop getting adequate lighting installed so I could see my work. Also getting my electricity situation sorted out so that I had electrical outlets in all of the places and the proper voltages to run my machines. And then also getting all my tools set up in the locations where I thought it would be the best layout for my work style. And so 2019 was all about phase 2 of the shop updates. I wanted to get drywall installed so I could have clean painted walls that I could use to organize all my tools. And I also wanted to upgrade my dust collection from an old 1.5 horsepower dust collector to a 3 horsepower Cyclone. So the first thing I had to do was clear everything off the wall. The main goal here was to get everything out of the way and find a place to safely put it while the drywall was being installed. Okay, so that's one wall down and 3 to go. The last thing to move in the front of the shop was my old dust collector. So I brought this ladder up here for some unknown reason. Maybe I thought I'd need it, but never moved. The dust collector needed to be disconnected from the pipe going through the wall, which isn't that hard. I never sealed off any of these joints, so the connections are just friction fit. I built this 2-stage dust collector a few years ago, and it's not exactly light, and the cabinet doesn't have any wheels. So thank goodness for polished concrete floors. Now after a quick sweep, I removed this section of PVC and moved on to the back of the shop. There wasn't a lot hanging on the walls back here, just my drill charging station and some makeshift shelving. I saved the heaviest thing to move for last. My lathe stand is probably 300 pounds with the lathe sitting on it. Again, thank goodness for polished floors. Now comes the only bit of demolition I had to do in this project. These shelves were all nailed into the studs, so not exactly easy to remove, but the recip saw with a demo blade did a pretty good job of it. Once I got the braces off, I had to pry the long support off with a pry bar. I think this thing was about 16 feet long, and I had to get creative with how I was going to get it off the wall all by myself. But where there's a will, there's a way, and with the help of my trusty ladder, I conquered the beast. I knew I needed that ladder for something. Now with everything off the walls, I did a quick cleanup, and wait for it, the drywall is up. Magic! No, not really. I just hired a crew to hang it for me. Now, I could have tried tackling this job by myself, but it would have taken me at least a month on my schedule and not been even close to as nice. You can already see in this side-by-side how much cleaner this is going to look when it's all put back together. And now that all the drywall's up, the next thing to do is to put a fresh coat of paint on all this new wall space. Now this is my jam. Just rock out to some tunes on the headphones and sling some paint. Alright, so now that all the walls are done, it's time to handle the dust collection. So part of upgrading my dust collector is that I wanted to move it to the back corner of the shop where it would be out of the way. My old dust collector doesn't perform well enough for this spot, as it's about 40 feet from this corner to where my table saw is in the other room. No bueno. So I bought a new 3-horse Cyclone dust collector as an upgrade to the old one. This should give me all the power I need to collect the dust anywhere in my shop, and it's probably the last time I'll need to think about dust collection. Assembling it was a bit of a process, but not difficult at all. There were a few parts that required gaskets to be added, which basically involves adding some adhesive weather stripping to the parts that connect together to create an airtight seal. The cyclone intake was first, and then the fan housing needed a gasket where it connected to the filter plenum. I repeated the same process with the top of the cyclone where it meets the intake. Then the top of the fan housing where the motor and fan will mount later. And finally, the plate where the filter will attach to the plenum will get the weather stripping as well. Now here's where the fun part begins. I dropped the cyclone funnel onto the already assembled support stand. After that, I just dropped the cyclone intake on top of the funnel and began to line up the holes between the intake, the funnel, and the support stand, which requires a series of bolts to connect them all together. Then I could set the fan housing on top of the intake and again line up all the holes and begin driving bolts into the intake to secure it in place. Next, I added the filter plenum to the fan housing. This was about the easiest step because there weren't 900 bolts to screw into place. I just lined it up and got it fastened lickety-split. The last thing I installed was the motor. With the assistance of my neighbor, who I didn't film, I was easily able to get the motor and fan into place. Then all I had to do was bolt it into the fan housing and connect the drum to the cyclone, and general assembly was complete. The next task was to add ducting, which is a whole other job entirely. Finding adapters and couplers to make all this ductwork fit together is quite the process. I'm running 6-inch ducting as the main line of the system, and off of that I added some 4-inch Ys where each of my big stationary tools would connect to the system. At this point, it was a simple process of adding a section of ducting, then attaching a Y with the sheet metal screws, and repeat. I added these wooden cleats to the wall where I could attach the pipe straps to hold the line to the wall. And I continued this line all the way through the wall and into the other room. The last thing to do was to seal up all the seams and connections with hvac tape and make the final connections between the line and the dust collector. So as you can see here, I have one straight run of 6-inch ducting from the dust collector all the way to the other room of the shop, and a connection for each of my large stationary tools. So the final addition to this new dust collection system is automation. The folks at hvac generously sent me a set of blast gates and a remote switch system so that forgetting to open my blast gates and spewing dust everywhere wouldn't happen again. The system, while requiring a decent number of power outlets to connect everything to, was really easy to install. I could connect the blast gate to my ducting using a rubber pipe connector and then connect the 4-inch hose from one of my machines to the blast gate, and that's it. The magic in this system lies in these little transmitters that wirelessly connect the system together. They can be programmed with switches to pair with a blast gate. Now each transmitter clamps to the power cord of the machine that is connected to the paired blast gate. It senses electromagnetically when the tool has been turned on and then sends a signal to the switch controller, which is wired to the dust collector, to turn it on, while at the same time sending a signal to open the corresponding blast gate. Magic! The end result is that when I turn on any connected tool, the blast gate for that tool automatically opens and the dust collector turns on. And once the tool is turned off, you can see this green tab on the blast gate disappear, indicating that the blast gate is closed off again. Now I installed a blast gate on my planer, joiner, bandsaw, CNC, and 2 in the other room for my table saw and router table, 6 in total. I'm so pumped to have this automation system in place to help me maximize my dust collection and help prevent silly mistakes like forgetting to open a blast gate. So that's it. Phase 2 of the shop transformation is complete. As you can see, I've already begun organizing my tools and filling up the wall space with cabinets and systems designed to have all my most frequently used tools at my fingertips. So I'm so happy to have a nice, clean, and organized backdrop while filming, and equally excited to have a new cyclone separator that maximizes my dust collection capabilities, and the automation is just icing on the cake. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I've got a couple other videos lined up here that I think you would enjoy as well. Please also remember to hit that logo and subscribe to my channel, and also hit the bell icon to be notified of future videos. And until next time, have fun in the shop.